Hello and welcome to our special program Desert Storm. Once again, we're coming to you live from Dubai. It's the rest day for the Indian team after they registered two consecutive losses. They still have a game to play versus Afghanistan, but as things stand right now, their chances of making it to the finals of the Asia Cup are just negligible. The dust is settled after that loss between India and Sri Lanka, and this is where the post-mortem starts, because this is where we analyze what all went wrong with the Indian team. Joining us on the program will also be Sunil Gavaskar, and we'll pick his brains and then try and decipher what are the areas where the Indian team faltered. For more on this, we're joined by former India captain Sunil Gavaskar. Sunil, first thing that you noticed in the two losses that India registered, one against Pakistan and the other against Sri Lanka, was the fact that, batsmen batting out of position. Rishabh Pant, the top four batsman, is batting well below at number 6. Deepak Hooda, up until now, had been playing as a top order batsman. Now he's been given the role of a finisher. Is the Indian team guilty of over-experimenting? Are they trying to fix things that aren't broken?
Well, I don't know what is. I don't know whether that's a declared approach, but all I've been reading and hearing is that they're experimenting to try and get the best sort of combination to go into the World Cup. So obviously, even the Asia Cup has been a platform for experimentation, which hasn't worked, and therefore now these remaining matches. There are 6 T20 games, 3 against Australia, 3 against South Africa. But before that, we'll have to announce the squad for the World Cup. So I guess these are the matches where we'll probably get to know how the experiments have worked or not.
Right, Saima, the other thing that we've noticed is, this new trend, this matchup that you see in the T20 format, that you have to play a left-handed batsman in your top order. You have to bring in an off-spinner when there are too many left-handers. These matchups, do you think, you should focus on that? And if you're focusing on that, then sometime you leave out the best players from the 11?
Well, matchups aren't bad because they give you a fair idea as to what would be a good thing to do. But too much of theory and matchups is a theory of sorts. But too much of theory is not always the best thing, because practical, what happens on the field, you can match up and do everything, but what happens on the field is completely different. You've got to have a plan A, plan B, and a plan C, which is where I think the Indian team on this particular tournament has not really had alternative plans, because they seem to have got stymied once things have started to unravel for them. So apart from that, I think matchups are fine, but cricket is a game that that changes in seconds, particularly the T20 format, and therefore you've got to be ready for it.
The other surprising bit, Saima, as you say, matchups are fine. Maybe, sometimes too much of theory isn't a great thing. You notice that the Indian team comes for a tournament as important as the Asia Cup with just 3 fast bowlers. Then you have a scenario where one of those 3 fast bowlers is unwell, not available for the 2 games. You had an option of drafting Deepak Chahar, who's a standby. They don't do that. All of these things put together, has it surprised you?
It was surprising because it did make for a slightly lopsided attack. You came in with 3 spinners, and 4 spinners if you look at Ravindra Jadeja, but Ravindra Jadeja is more like an all-rounder. So you came in with 4 bowlers who could bowl spin, while you had only 3 regular fast bowlers. So I think that's where maybe there was that lopsided, and maybe that's why there was no plan, say another plan, an alternate plan, or there didn't seem to be an alternate plan when things didn't go according to expectations.
Right, Saima, one thing I hear you say very often in this interview is that an alternate plan was missing. Now, I want to know who should have thought of this alternate plan? Who should have thought of getting these selection calls right? Who is to be blamed then? Is it the coach? Is it the captain? Is it the both of them?
I think, this is not the time to do any pointing of fingers. This is the time for all of us to actually back this Indian team. Look, the Asia Cup is done and dusted. The more important thing is the World Cup coming through. And I think for that, we should all maybe look to back them. Yes, I think they all themselves would know that there are certain things that maybe they could have improved on. But, it's in adversity that we need to be together. And I think that is what at the moment the Indian team is having. There's a little bit of an adversity because everybody expected India to get to the finals, I mean, not just winning the tournament, but get to the finals. India Pakistan finals. All these were permutations and combinations even before the first ball of the Asia Cup was bowled. And that's what cricket is all about. Cricket can change in a second, and so India is at the moment out of the tournament. So let's get back. Let's behind, not get back, but get behind this Indian team. Give them the encouragement. Yes, okay, fine. This has happened. But what is more important now? The World Cup. Because, after 2007, India hasn't won this World Cup. The Asia Cup, India has won quite a number of times. And the Asia Cup will happen again in 2 years' time. So I think this is the time to get behind and tell them that, that's fine. It's happened. But, please see the areas where you can improve and plug those gaps which you think are necessary.
Sunil Gavaskar still with us. Sunil, I spoke to you right after that game. That was India versus Sri Lanka. And when I asked you, are you worried looking at India's form going ahead into that T20 World Cup? You said, no, you're not worried. So I want to know from you, what are those areas, what are those thoughts that you have in your mind that you're not worried, even though India hasn't even made the finals of the Asia Cup, let alone a bigger tournament than the T20 World Cup? What gives you hope for Australia?
First and foremost, it's a different venue. Yes, I think probably similar boundaries, maybe even longer boundaries than what we had in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi. But pitches which will be very good to bat on, pitches where the spinners also, the wrist spinners in particular, will get a little extra bounce and therefore, will not be so easy to hit. Not trying to, bang my own, drums. But I was the first captain to include a leg spinner in the team when we went to the World Championship of Cricket in 1985. I prevailed upon the selection committee to include one because of the long boundaries. Of course, now the boundaries are probably brought in Australia because of the sliding stops that the players make. But a leg spinner, if he bowls well, can be a game changer. And I think we saw yesterday how Chahal bowled. Brilliant stuff. 3 wickets, getting the well-set Kusal Mendis out with a flipper. Absolutely top-class stuff. So, therefore, I have this confidence that in Australia, where India has done well in the past, will again be the kind of venue which will suit our team. So that's why I said I'm not too worried about this particular episode in the Asia Cup.
Now, sir, Rohit Sharma said after that loss, he said that, listen, our team is set, 95%. This is the team that is going to go for the T20 World Cup. Let me ask you, can you think of a player that needs to be drafted into this pool and needs to be taken to the T20 World Cup who's already not part of this pool? And I'm not counting the likes of Jasprit Bumrah, Harshal Patel. They, of course, walk in. Anybody else outside that pool?
I would think, Deepak Chahar. Deepak Chahar is one I would certainly look at because in Australia with the extra bounce, the hardness of the pitch, with the kind of movement that he generates with the new ball, he's somebody who's got to factor in. If we've always picked about 4 or 5 bowlers for the Australia tour or the South Africa tour, one of them generally is wasted. But in a fast-paced tournament like the T20, I think to go in with a Deepak Chahar would be beneficial to the Indian team.
Right, so that one player that Sunil Gavaskar has picked is Deepak Chahar. Talking about one player that you would want, I would want to know, is there that one player whose form, looking at his performance in the Asia Cup, that you're worried about, integral part of the team, any one player who you're worried now going ahead to the T20 World Cup?
Well, I mean, there are two. There's more than one player who hasn't actually quite been consistent. I think consistency is important, and that's why I'm hoping that these 6 matches that we have, that they'll be able to play. Now, let's not experiment. Let's not talk about workload. Let's not talk about resting. If you have to rest anybody, look at the 3 one-day matches towards the end of the South Africa tour. Maybe there you can think in terms of resting some of the players after the first game, and then have the other, those who are not in the T20 squad come in and play the remaining 2 one-day games. But do not now. This is not the time to try too many experiments. Now is the time to get your core team together, get them to mold together as one, and go on to Australia and bring that cup back home.
Finally, Sunny, before we wrap up this discussion, I'd like to bring in Captain Rohit Sharma. There's a lot of chatter on social media, a lot of former players also pointing out that Rohit is not looking his jovial, relaxed self that we are so accustomed to seeing on the field. Rohit Sharma, the captain. Now, here's a captain who's been very successful in the IPL. You reckon he's feeling the pressures of being an captain at the international level? Have you noticed anything like that while watching him on TV during the Asia Cup?
Well, clearly in the two matches that India lost, you could feel that he was under pressure, but that is to be expected. You know, when things are not going well, you can't smile when things are not going too well. But you know, he's an experienced captain. He's gone through these situations while captaining Mumbai Indians. When Mumbai Indians have not won or have not got off to a great start, but he's then handled the team to go on to win. So that's what I'm kind of hoping, that yes, this has not been a great start, but because of the way Rohit Sharma has managed to get out of this situation with the Mumbai Indians and go on to win the IPL trophy, he will be able to do something similar when India go to Australia.
All right, Sunny, thanks so much for sharing those thoughts, giving us those insights. Now, talking about Rohit Sharma, yes, he may not have looked his jovial self on the field, as I pointed out, but off the field at the press conference, which I attended, he was pretty relaxed and said that, listen, 2 losses is not a situation where the team is going to worry about. They, of course, have another game to play. That is going to be coming up versus Afghanistan. Our coverage continues on India Today. All our specials coming to you live from Dubai, because the Indian team still has a teeny-weeny chance of making it to the final. I mean, you're hoping against hope, all right, but there's still that little chance. So India's game against Afghanistan, that will be coming your way tomorrow. We'll have all the latest updates on India Today, so don't forget to tune in at the same time. For the moment, this is Nikhil Naz signing off from Dubai.